Hey folks, welcome back to yet another video on watercolor. So today I'll tell you what sketchbook, brushes and color I use for my watercolor sketches. Prime objective of this video is to save your time, energy and money when buying new watercolor material for your upcoming watercolor sketches. So where do we start from? Let's start with the sketchbooks. So first one we have here is Brushstroke spiral bound. A5 size, 120 pages, 160 GSM thickness, and they say it's ideal for students. I did some sketches and I think I'm really proud of them. But then we have a problem. The texture of this paper is good, but then the other side is totally wasted. It just cannot absorb water. I also did some charcoal and gouache work and it held up pretty well. So all in all, this thing works well and I can recommend it to you. The next one we have here is not a watercolor sketchbook. This is from Minora, an Indian company that I really like. The thickness of the paper is 115 GSM. The texture really feels smooth, so it's definitely not made for wet mediums. But I still use it for watercolor for a reason, which I'll tell you in a bit. For me, the form factor and the usability plays an important role in liking or disliking something, and I guess that's what makes me get back to it for another round of scribbling. Next we have Factor Notes, A6 size, 120 GSM. They say it's good for pencil, charcoal, ink, pastel, crayons and light washes. And this thing is very inexpensive. You won't believe what it has to offer for that cheap price. It's 125 Indian rupees, which is 1.49 USD. So I had a great time painting on it. It's really very comfortable. The pages lay flat so you can sketch A5 size. Yes, highly recommend this. Up next we have these cheapo notebooks, not sketchbooks, notebooks. So this is the place where I dump all my ideas. Whether it's a composition, a new idea for YouTube video, some notes on what I've learned today. It's all in here. You get 4 of these in just $1. Oops, sorry, I was just carried away. Here we go. So this is my favorite sketchbook amongst all. Actually, I have 2 of these. These are square shaped, has 120 GSM off-white paper. The cover has a soft touch to it, and they say it's good for pencil, charcoal, chalk, graphite, crayon, ink, watercolor. But wait, it's not watercolor paper. It's just a thick cartridge paper. But trust me, it can take a beating. I literally have so many memories on this sketchbook. This is from our trip to Cherrapunji, known as the wettest land on the planet. Real good stuff. I love using these non-watercolor sketchbooks because it limits my strokes. These sketchbooks taught me how to avoid details. If you want to flip through of this black one, click on the I button up here. Highly recommend these. In fact, I believe every beginner should have these in their collection. And last but not the least, we have Behong Academy watercolor paper, A5 size, 100% cotton, 300 GSM, and the paper has a very nice texture to it. I just love it. And you can paint on both the sides without any problem. The only proper watercolor paper on my list. So we are done with the sketchbooks. Now let's talk about some watercolor boxes I've been using for some time. This is Daniel Smith's 24 color half pen set. This is Schmincke 24 color half pen set. This is Brushstroke, again 24 color half pen set. And finally we have Mangyo or Mungyo half pen set. Where Brushstroke and Mangyo are on the cheaper side, Daniel Smith and Schmincke are 3 times more expensive than these two. If I paint the same subject with these 4 different brands, trust me, you won't be able to tell the difference which is which. So I'll pick the cheaper ones any day because it's saving me a lot of money. But then if I want to preserve my painting, I have to keep a good trusted brand like Schmincke and Daniel Smith in my collection. So as we are talking about watercolor sketches, we don't need these big fat boxes. We need something small. I often use smaller watercolor boxes so that you can see it on screen while I'm painting. This is Winsor & Newton watercolor field box. Have highly pigmented watercolor paints. Very comfortable in hand. Have loads of mixing area. It's very expensive, but then if you have the money, go for it. Up next is my favorite of all, the Schminka Horridem watercolor whiskey palette. This palette is with me from a long time. I guess this will always be my favorite because again, the form factor, the usability, the comfort in my hands, it's just incredible. By the way, the paints in it are from different brands like Daniel Smith, Aquatone, Holbein, Winsor & Newton, Daler Rowney, and Mission Gold. Up next we have White Knights from St. Petersburg. I think everybody knows about this watercolor brand. They are always good. This one is called Winsor & Newton Cotman Sketchers box. The colors are student grade and they refuse to activate easily. I love the box, but I don't like the paints, so I replaced the pens with different other brands I like. Next one we have here is a DIY watercolor palette. This is a camera filter box which I bought from Amazon. I placed 20 half pen set inside this and filled it with my desired colors. This thing works like a charm. I guess you should build one for yourself too. Finally we have these three tiny ones. The first one is from Doms. These are literally made for kids. This is not watercolor by any means. It's some kind of colored chalky thing. But I still use it for some very quick ideas. Actually much quicker than what you have seen on my channel. As you can see, I'm struggling to open it. This means I haven't used it for a while. This is so small that I had a tough time using it. But I'll try to make a good use of it in my coming videos. Many people ask me what watercolor is good for beginners. I would like to answer them Chenalier Aquamini. This is hands down the best watercolor for beginners. You also get a small brush, but it's useless. If you want something very cheap yet highly pigmented, this is the one. Okay folks, enough of sketchbooks and colors. Now it's time to talk about some brushes. I don't want to confuse you by showing everything I have. Rather cut the chase by showing you what you really need for your watercolor sketches. The first one is a mop brush Round Zero, brand Raphael. This one will help you cover a large portion of the frame. I can literally finish a painting with just one small size mop brush. Get one immediately. Second most important brush we need, a snappy round brush size 6 or 8. It will help you do the finest of details. The one we have here is Escoda Perla. The pencil I'm using for my sketches is a mechanical pencil known as the Pentel Graph Gear 1000. It's been 4 years I'm using this pencil and still don't feel like I need to upgrade. I'm using 2B darkness and 0.7 thickness lead from the same company. So I hope this video helps you find the right material for your watercolor sketches. I'll bring more good videos like this and other tutorials and try every possible way to make you a better artist. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video if you really did. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.